So today I'm going to be talking about UFC judging, UFC reffing, and just the general rules around fouls in the UFC. And by the thumbnail and who you see on the screen, I think you'll know what sparked this idea for this video. And what I saw last night was just awful. The fact that that fight was not at the very least called a no contest is baffling, dude. Weidman landed about four, maybe even five, I think it was four though, eye pokes last night. There needs to be a limit to how many eye pokes. I don't care if they're accidental. There needs to be a limit to where it's a disqualification, just instant disqualification. Four is 100. Four eye pokes should 100% be a disqualification. Weidman's fingers were extended the entire fight. And every time he landed an eye poke, the ref just gave him a light warning. And there was only one point in the fight where the ref told Weidman to put his hands down, but Weidman didn't even put his hands down or he didn't not extend his fingers after that warning. He kept his fingers extended still. The entire fight, he kept his fingers extended. And the ref did nothing about it. I also saved screen. I don't know how much I'm allowed to show, so there's no clips. I'm sure I'm able to just show screenshots. But here these are the two eye pokes that landed in the last exchange to where before Weidman landed the knockdown shot in quotations. And that the last actual shot that Weidman landed barely grazed Silva. Like, that clearly did not drop him. It was clearly the eye pokes that made Silva fall. And I guess you could argue, oh, he shouldn't have fallen from the eye pokes, but it doesn't. He still shouldn't have given Weidman the TKO win after a double eye poke. And this is the first poke we see here in the final exchange. Half of his bloody fingers in his eye. And then we'll go to the second poke. This one still not, it wasn't actually as deep, but it like grazed the eye, which could be worse. And that's, were both nasty pokes. And when I saw this slowed down replay, I thought, okay, maybe the ref was in like a bad position. He couldn't really see the pokes. But you go to this, and the ref is in a good position. He could see Weidman's fingers extended out, going directly towards Silva's eye. You can see that. The ref can see that. Boom, Silva goes in. He sees Weidman's fingers go up. So he could definitely see Weidman's fingers going into Silva's eye. He could see that. And then we go here to the second poke. It's like, okay, maybe he didn't see the first one because it's on the other side. The second poke, he can see this eye. He can clearly see this eye. He could see Weidman's fingers pointed downwards right into his eye. Boom. Finger in the eye. The ref is looking directly at it. Like, unless he's looking at their crotches or something, which I don't know, he shouldn't be doing anyways. Like, he can see this. He can see Weidman's finger going right into the eye. Then after this, he has a perfect angle of seeing Silva when he drops, covering his eyes with his hands. So he can clearly see that the eye pokes were what affected him there. And you could almost see the ref like immediately run to Silva when he drops, and he looks like he's about to like stop Weidman from landing shots because of the eye pokes, but then he just doesn't stop Weidman and just lets Weidman tee off and then calls the fight. I'm not trying to say the ref was wanting to Weidman to win or anything, but it's either that or it's just completely incompetent reffing. Either way, this dude needs to be fired. That was terrible. These are there's no way he doesn't see that. This one could arguably, like, okay, maybe he didn't really notice that, but this one is terrible. He could 100% see that. But this isn't the only fight that's a problem. This is a problem in the whole UFC. This is things like this have happened in so many fights. Just refs being incompetent, judges being incompetent, and it's just there's no clear rules about the the general rules about fouls, and the punishments for them are so vague and up to interpretation for the refs. It's they just need stricter guides on what to do in certain situations for the refs, because it's a problem for the refs, it's a problem for the fighters, because they go in and not knowing what foul, like, the fouls are so vague too, like grounded knees. It's so easy to throw a grounded knee by accident because the rules about where your hands need to be, where your knees are, if your hands are both down, you're kind of grounded. I don't, it depends on how the ref sees it too. It's just something needs to be done about the rules, the refs, the judges especially. Like, this is just such a problem in the UFC. It's ruining careers. I feel so bad for Silva and just anyone this is affected, and it's affected a lot of fighters. This happens, it's been happening so often lately. There just needs to be an overhaul of the rules, the refs, the judging. Something needs to be done. It's tainting the sport, it's ruining fighters' careers, and it's just turning so many people off of the UFC. Like, I'm just on Instagram, I'm just seeing no one. I mean, a lot of people are pissed about this, but more so people are just fucking done. Like, it's just happened so often now. Bad ref calls, bad judge calls, and just fouls that are vague and no one knows how to deal with them. It's a huge problem, and it's weighing the sport down. And until it's resolved, MMA is not going to be respected, and it's just holding. It's just not fun to watch. It sucks to see, and I very much hope the UFC does something about it very soon. And that's about it for my rant. Let me know what you think about this whole situation in the comments, and I'll see you all in the next video.